Yeah.
And say who you are.
Good evening and welcome. We can turn the volume down here. I'm Judy Bergeron, the director of the Smithville Public Library and also the head of the department that is the chair of the Richard D. Latham Cultural District. And I'm glad to welcome you to our public workshop. It is June 4th. We're a little bit after 5:30 p.m. We'll call it 5:37. And I'm going to hand the mic to the other two people at this table, and they will introduce themselves as well. Jill?
That is pretty loud, isn't it? Okay, I'm Jill Struby. I'm with the City of Smithville. I'm the Director of Economic Development and Grants Administration for the city. In this capacity, I'm the liaison for the cultural district for the city. And as you all know, the city cultural districts are partnerships between the municipality and the local nonprofit art organization. And that's who Jessica represents. And so Jessica, if you wanted to.
Hi, I'm Jessica Reese, and where's the camera? It's right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I'm Jessica Reese, and I'm representing the Lost Pines Art Alliance, and we are devoted to educating and supporting the arts here in Smithville. And we are a large part, or like to be, a large part of our local cultural district.
I'm Sandra Bourne. I'm the Executive Director for Arts for Rural Texas and Fayetteville. We are working with our city to have our square designated as a cultural district. So we're here really to just kind of learn from you guys.
I'm Mike Stroup. I'm the mayor of Fayetteville, and I'm here with Sandra to learn more about the cultural district and how it works within a city.
I'm Beverly Koloski, and I'm here with LPAA and just supporting our community.
Thank you all very much. If anybody else comes in, we'll let them chime in as well. Jill is going to give a brief update on current projects and where the budget stands now.
Yes, so we have a total project budget of out of the city of $5,000 for our cultural district programming. So we try to do as much as we can to stretch those dollars. A lot of that has to do with bringing in sponsorships and bringing in the Texas Commission on the Arts grants organization, grant projects is really instrumental in helping us to go make those dollars go farther. The couple of things that we're working on currently have to do with, we have some longstanding programming that includes the Youth Banner Program. And to date, we've had actually, sponsorships of $1,000. Sorry, I did not get a chance to update this. Our expenses around that are generally something between $5,000 and $6,000. And we expect that we'll be able to make the majority of that we won't need to use our city funding through that line for that. The Youth Banner Program, if you've noticed, they were the banners that you see along Main Street. They're in the process of, there were, I guess, when we, the way the program generally runs is we work with the school district, kindergarten through junior high school kids participate. So all of the lower grades, they don't have art specific classes. We do something called an Enrichment Days program through the Smithville Education Foundation. They support these 3 to 6, depending on the year and the administration, different days when they have enrichment days, and that's when the kids do the art classes for those, for the elementary grades. For the junior high, they do have classes, and that's 5, 6, and 7, grades 5, 6, and 7. So they have, 6, 7, 8. And so they have the actual classes, and the art teacher always provides us with the student artwork from her classes. So typically we'll get 1 per classroom. So it ends up being about between 28 and 36, depending on, I think we keep on getting a few more every year. I think we're up to 36 this past year. So we're still, unfortunately, last for the 2024 year, there were some hiccups in getting everything all put together. And so they are in the process right now of putting up all the last final 15 along Main Street. And we do have all the artwork, and we're in process now for this summer. And so we'll be getting all the artwork done for 2025. That'll go up and down on MLK Drive. So we'll have, the city will get bucket trucks and we'll replace the ones, so the banners go out for 2 years running, and then we'll return the banners to the school district and they'll send it out to the families. So the families end up getting the banners. And after 2 years, they're oftentimes they're some of them, depending on location, some of them look a little better than others, but at least they get a chance to have the banners while they're still looking okay. So that's where we are with that. We are still looking for more sponsorships for that. And Jose recently did a video. So we're gonna do, usually what we do is we ask for large donors of $500 or more to be logos on the banners, and that's what funds the project. This year, we're reaching out a little bit more. We're trying to see if we can get, it's about roughly $100 a banner if you include hardware and a few other miscellaneous expenses. So we're asking the community to see if we can get $100 per banner, that they wouldn't get their logos on the banner, but we would just have, once we get the large donors, then we'll also be able to fill in with some of those smaller donors as well. So that's where we're going with that. The sculpture on Main, what we talked about doing, and I did reach out to Anthony St. James' wife. We've done this since 2018, I want to say. It's been a little while. It was before COVID we started it. So what that's been is we have 5 pedestals along Main Street. What we've done is like an outdoor museum situation. And so most years it's a competitive process with a jury, and we ask for people to submit their work. And then we have some outside of us artists to determine which ones should be on those pedestals. And we change them out every year. They come in the switch out is always in November. So by our Festival of Lights, which is the first Saturday in December, we have an artist reception. And so for all the artists that are in the show, we celebrate them, we bring in the community, we give them prizes. So it's for second, third prize, which is all just, it's a survey that we put out and the community votes on the ones that they like the best. This year, Anthony St. James, who has participated in probably almost all of them. I think it was every year except maybe one year, and maybe the first year, but he passed away, and we want to do something special for him. And so we wanted to have a retrospective. I've reached out to his wife. I haven't heard back, but the only contact I have for her is his email. So I've asked around to see if anybody else knows how to reach her directly, and I haven't been very successful at finding that. So we still have a little bit of time before we'd have to figure out something else to do with that project. I think we're probably verging on too late to still making it a juried thing. So we might have to make it a Smithville Invitational or something like that again. But I'm still kind of hoping that we'll be able to find her. So if out in the world, if anyone is hearing this and knows Anthony St. James' lovely wife, and please ask her to.
Do we know her name?
It's in my email, and I am not remembering what it is, but.
I'm sure folks out there, a name would be helpful, so we'll get it to you.
Yeah. Well, I have it in her email. Something like, I want to say Margaret, but I'm not positive that that's true, so I should be more prepared. I apologize. But I'll make a note if I can on the YouTube and see if we can maybe get some help that way. The historic coloring book. So this was a project we started. I do. Do you want to talk about it? And I'll go get that.
Historic coloring book. Jill's going to go get a sample so that y'all can see it. But it started, I want to say this is our 3rd or 4th year. And it might have actually been longer. Kind of a follow-up of the National Endowment for the Arts Bridging Community project that we did. And the mural is on the school building, on the motor pool inventory maintenance building. And it is all of the community selected who, what, where is important to Smithville history. What's our culture? And so this mural was created as part of the NEA project. And then the artist wanted to have the black and white drawings that went into the mural be part of a coloring book. And so we worked together to put it together. And the third grade classes every year get a copy of this coloring book because in third grade, they learn their local community history. And so this becomes part of their education as well.
Awesome, thank you. So this year, what we're doing is we're in process. Again, I have an intern this summer. We have an intern this summer. And she'll be working on a number of projects, including the library's summer reading program. So that's really awesome for that. But this, I told her yesterday, this is her project to see from start to finish. So she's going to help find the sponsors for it. Typically, we don't have too much trouble. We only ask $100 a piece for people. And at the very last page, you'll see the sponsorship information. And it's I think it's under $1,000. I think last year we asked for, we needed something different. I can't remember what it was. There was something a little bit different. Maybe we asked for too many, but it was right under that $1,000 threshold. Normally it's closer to about $600, I think. So somewhere in between there. I can't remember if something got more expensive this year than last year or something. I don't remember what, but anyway. We work with the school to make sure that it gets distributed to the kids. And like Judy was saying, as part of their history program. We also have a teacher's guide. So if you look at any one of these people or any one of these pages, you'll see that there is a teacher's guide that has more specific information, that's historic information about that particular section. And so that we work really very closely with the Smithville Heritage Society to make sure that we had the right information. It was all correct, and the most important things that we needed to highlight were highlighted, all the kind of stuff. So it's been really just a fun project. And every year since we've done this, the third graders have gotten a project. Yeah. So that's been a fun one. I'm going to skip to the music in the park real quick. So this year we ran it in May. About 40 people attended the first event. We had between 100 and 200 attendees at the other events. I think the next one was about 125, and then the one after that was about 150, and then the 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one was about 200, and then the fifth one was about closer to 150 by the time it was over. I think it was just starting to get too hot. Normally we have it in April, so it's a little bit easier for people to be outside, and we'll do that again with that's a collaboration with the chamber. And so the cultural district and the chamber work together to make that happen. And I don't have the survey yet, but our intern is going to be uploading all the survey information, and we'll have that back from them. And I wanted to skip that Artist of the Year for a second because I wanted to mention that the projects we've talked about so far, the youth banners, the sculpture in Maine, historic coloring books, and music in the park, all started with a grant from the TCA. So Texas Commission on the Arts, and every single one of those, they started it as a pilot project, and we've been able to carry it over for the last couple of years. There were a couple of them, the youth banners, and I think the music in the park. Yeah, youth banners, we were able to get 2 TCA grants because they helped us start it. And then we were only doing the elementary school. And then when we expanded into the junior high, they gave us a boost that year to be able to move on up and expand a little bit. And so we've had two grants on that program. And same thing with music in the park. We started it through a grant with TCA. And then post-COVID, we asked them for some more funding because our sponsors just didn't have any money. And we wanted to make sure that was the first event that we were able to open and have people come out after COVID again and do something outdoors and fun. And so that was a really important thing for us. So we were really grateful to Texas Commission on the Arts. They've been really supportive. The Artist of the Year program, we haven't run it really for 3 years. So I don't know. It's, yeah, thoughts on, what are your thoughts? Do you even, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, so, boy, what year was that? We started it in, I want to say 2018. No, before that, because it was before that, because COVID knocked us out. So it was maybe 2015 or 16 was the first one, because we had 4 or 5 before we ended up. So Artist of the Year, the idea was our Chamber of Commerce does a number of the year programs. So our people like Citizen of the Year, Organization of the Year, business of the year, new business, you know, like all these different kinds of the year things. And we thought we would try to do artist of the year to try to bring a little bit more attention and get some spotlight for our artists. And I think we did pretty well the first few years at it. And then COVID came and just, it threw us off our game, and this just hasn't. Yeah, yeah, so, yeah. So we haven't, but, so we're tabling it this year? It's a good,
That- it's before my time. I came here during COVID. And I think personally, it was a good idea. And I think the art community could use that as far as recognition. I think it's a good thing to have out there to give certain creative individuals a goal and or a target. But we are in May, June, so pulling it together might be a challenge.
yeah. Do you want to? Yeah, that's always the challenge, is who's taking it on.
And would we try and align it with the chamber, their annual banquet, and can add it into the of the year programs? Because that's when we were presenting it before, until one year we didn't have it ready, or we knew the artist wasn't going to be at the chamber banquet, so we did the presentation at a later time. Do we want to go back to aligning it with the chamber banquet? I don't
They
know.
would let us, yeah. New, under new management, we'd have to ask. So I don't know that, so percolate on that. I'd like to have maybe at our next LPA board meeting, have a discussion and figure out, because it has always been a nice thing to draw the attention. It's just that we need somebody to be a champion for that, and I don't know that anyone stepped up.
I think it is a good thing to bring up at the next meeting. Maybe we might get enough people together to make it happen. But it's hard to know what kind of involvement you can get, especially, well, it's summertime. Folks aren't available so much. So let's put it on our wish list, honestly.
Well, and we can set the timeline. It doesn't have to happen in the next 2 weeks, you know. Okay, so we'll talk about that again. All right, and then the last thing on that is just the Music Fest on Main with the Music Fest with the businesses on Main. So the Cultural District has taken that on as an adopted program. It's not, nobody here does that, but we, through the city line, we have supported that through some funding. And so in the budget this year, because the budget was cut fairly extensively, what we talked about in November and was approved at that time was giving them $100 for a sponsorship from the Cultural District. And so I don't have any new news. I just wanted to let you know that we're on task to doing what we said we were going to do. And once we hear from them and get a invoice from them, we'll send out the funding for that. All right. Updates on the TCA grants. So this year we've had 3 grants from the TCA. Oh, I didn't put in I apologize. I did not move the one for, no, it's not even there. We have 3 grants. So I've got 1 and 2, and I need 3 for theater in the park. I'll update that. Okay, so the consultant, we had a person come in just to kind of help us streamline some things, make sure that we were, it's a very event-oriented type of, a lot of the fundraising that we do are connected to events. And so she was really monitoring one of the big events that we do every year called Empty Bowl. And so she used that as a model to try to pull things together and help us with that one specifically, and then make a guidebook for any event coming up, like the kinds of things that we need to work on and timeline and how to set up champions and things like that. So her work is done. I will, there's just a couple of things I need to clean up about how the formatting of she gave me a Word file. I just want to make it look like a city, you know, get it in our template and all that thing before I release it. But she did a good job putting things together and bringing up some thoughts of how we could make maybe a few adjustments here and there. But Beverly, did you want to talk anything? Because you were involved in that. No, you're good. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very well put together. Thank you. Did you want to?
I didn't get to participate
Oh,
too
yeah.
much this year,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Okay. Did you want to say any more? Okay. Okay. All right. So that's over. The Mary Nichols repairs. So this was what we had requested 12,000 from TCA. We were approved for 7,500. Going back to music in the park with the chamber, we were able to raise about 2,000 more than we needed for music in the park. So that's going to go towards the match for the Mary Nichols house. And so, so that's the match entirely is that we're responsible for is 3,750. The city public works is going to make up the balance. If we can't make any more sponsorships for that, we do have a sponsorship campaign going if we can get any more for that. But we'll see what we get. But that's going to be, Dean has already, from my understanding, Dean has already started. I think he started painting. I don't know. I know he needed the bucket truck. So we're gonna get we did order the hood for the kiln. He's gonna take the hood, yeah. I don't know when
I'm
it's
over
due in.
here- I'm over here very excited because this is the space that all the artists use. And we are making good with as much as we can, but there are definite challenges. It's one of those places that you would call character. So last year we managed to get HVAC, and that changed a lot of things for the summertime. And now if we can run the kiln successfully in the summertime without worrying and praying that we're not going to light the house on fire, that is a blessing. So thank you to everyone that helped with that one.
Yeah, okay, so that's ordered. Hopefully it'll be in, Dean's on the job. So he's gonna do the painting and put the hood together. And I think that we're gonna have to examine how much it costs after that and see how much more we can do on that grant. We had a list of, I want to say 7 different things we want to accomplish with 12,000. So now we just have to see how much we can knock off from that. But that's, and everything has to be done on that by 8/31, and Public Works is very well aware of the deadline, so. And we're supposed to have a party too. So we want to have a new party in the space sometime at the end of July is the target deadline, but we'll see if we get it done. Okay, so we can talk about that in a second if we want to talk about a date for that, or we can talk about a date at a later date. Well, but towards the end of July, and I think maybe we have to solidify that after I talk to Dean. So, okay, then the one that's not on the list is Theater in the Park. Playhouse Smithville has been an institution here for over 10 years. And I think Jessica mentioned earlier before the meeting actually started that they were recently, the building that they were in using as a black box theater was put on the market for sale. And so that has sold, but effectively that means that they haven't had a home. So they've gone to Giddings. There's a theater in Giddings, in Lockhart, and in Flatonia close by. And they're also now, they're talking about the next thing for them inside a place. Well, actually back up a little bit. They were able to put on a production in the Bluebonnet Room on Main Street, which is right across the street from where they used to be. So that was really a nice venue, and they may start using that for small shows. But they're also talking about doing Orient Express over at the American Legion. So that could be a really fun thing this fall. But what they are doing for us is something they're calling Don't Mess with Texas Baby. And it's a grant through Texas Commission on the Arts through their environmental program. So what we did was we coordinated some materials from TCEQ, Texas Commission on TC on Environmental Quality, and some other sources to try to help bring that information out to the schools and to the homeschool kids and to the what else are we, and to the daycare centers and things like that to kind of get them geared up towards doing some things with the recycle center and understand how to, things that you shouldn't litter. And then this Theater in the Park is like it's going to be a fun show to just, so they've got the animals and it's a rabbit in the tortoise and the hare story. So
And those are the flyers that were with your agenda and paperwork. So,
So that's coming up, and we're hopeful that the idea is we're hoping that we'll have about 500 people across the 4 shows so about 125 people. And based on what we had for the music in the park, I think we can get there. And we've really been trying to push that out a lot, so we'll see. So those are what we're doing right now. The upcoming grants, we submitted for $96,000 for studio space for Bastrop County Cares. They should be letting us know momentarily. I think I heard from somebody today. I know. Well, I think I heard from somebody today that they got word that they got the grant. So usually they tell the people who don't get the money first. So I'm not sure. I wasn't able to look in my email really, because I've been out all day, so I'm not sure if I missed something. I'm hopeful that maybe, yeah, fingers crossed. But I'm not positive if, well, we'll see if we get it or not. But what it would be to expand the clay studio space and give more equipment and a little bit better facility space there. And we have a sound studio space on the 2nd floor that we've been working on, and this would be to improve that space as well. And then also provide us with a person, like a part-time, I can't remember what he wrote for, 20 hours a week or so. No, just to like venue space, like just to sit at Mary Nichols' house and figure out, yeah, like a manager for the Mary Nichols house. And I mean, it could also be like figuring out how to do the production and things like that, but somebody who, yeah, so we'll see if that actually comes through. I have to say that's, considering the other people that I know have submitted grants for Bastrop County Cares, I think we're a little too far away from some of the social services that they prefer to support. So I'm not real sure that but fingers crossed, we'll see.
I'll chime in here. You may have noticed that the cultural district works hard to improve the building, the Mary Nichols Arts Center. It is a city-owned building, and they're allowing the LPAA to use it and also to manage it. To have somebody in it is going to help save the building. It's going to take better care of the building. And instead of using just city tax dollars, the cultural district tries to get as much grant funding as possible. And sometimes Jessica mentioned the HVAC 1 year. So each year it's a little bit that we can add to the project so that we can keep that building thriving and keep our artists being able to use it. So.
Okay, and so in that vein, we are talking about putting in a cultural district for the upcoming June 15 deadline to take the work that we're sure isn't going to happen on the Mary Nichols House from the previous grant and put that into a new grant proposal. And then what we were talking about doing at one of the last meetings was to set up a committee that would be called MNAC Muses. So there are a number of organizations that use the Mary Nichols House pretty regularly. So LPAA being the resident tenant that really does most of the coordination and classes and has been there for a long, long time. But we also have a number of organizations that have started for the last, since we got air conditioning, basically.
Yes, actually, now that the building is climate controlled, and there are a lot of groups around town that have been just trying to organize themselves and just didn't have a space to use. So we have Songs of Smithville. They're trying to pull together recording type services for the community's musicians. And then there's Yarn Bombers, which is a group of individuals that have a passion for yarn, and they do all kinds of really creative things around town. And then who else do we have? The Playhouse Smithville, or they're using it for practice space. And then I do believe there's another group who's singing.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the singing is Kim Lehman is running it, but she's just singing for the sake of singing. And the mental health benefits of singing out loud and things like that. So they're gathering at Mary Nichols Art Center to do that singing. They love the acoustics in there as well.
But right now, the LPAA is managing things, and we really don't, we know the needs of the LPAA, but we don't know the needs of all the other groups that are utilizing the building. So if we actually formed a committee that involved all these other groups, then we could possibly be more strategic with the way that we improve the building.
Yeah, so regardless of whether or not we get that grant for the cultural district, I think if we, this is a really valuable thing that came out of discussion for that. I have sent an invitation out to everybody. They didn't show up tonight. I apologize. I think somebody was supposed to come from the Yarn Bombers at least, but not to throw anybody under the bus, but anyway. Anyway, hopefully we'll have a meeting with them to talk a little bit more about the venue, the meeting the building space and so forth. The TCA Art Response project is due 7/15. And so I'd say thoughts included, thoughts included are this page. So this is basically, I've been calling it our idea file, and have collected information about this file since 2016, I want to say. Like, for a long time, I've had ideas in here. So at the last meeting, somebody said, we really should go through this idea file and cull some things out of here and really decide if we're going to elevate something, or if it needs to kind of stay, there as an idea, or if there's like a couple of them I pulled just because the artist moved away. So anyway, so some of that stuff. I don't know if we want to, I know you have a place to be. So I don't know if we want to do that tonight. Maybe I do have, if you look at the page 3 and 4, I've got we did a survey, all except for that, the idea that came through because of the survey, which is Robin Lively's couple of pictures from there. That's not in the survey results other than at all, because I don't think, anyway, she sent this to me by email. But this has the list of things and where it kind of lined out. Only 12 people took it, so I don't want to use that as our final cut it or not. I know I'd like to have a discussion with a couple of groups. Like, I know Jenny Bush has some very strong opinions about things, and so I want to make sure that we have a conversation before we move forward with just whole scale cutting things off. But we can certainly, in a minute, that might be something that we can do before we actually leave, is that at least cut out the 3 or 4 of them that we really don't have to have on this list, because there's a lot that maybe don't need to be there right now. So then what's the last thing? Because I have to look something up. Oh, I guess that's it. And then I guess the last thing that we're doing right now is, what I always provide for these meetings is so that the community can look at the Art Response overview and training to see what we need to do for the TCA grants, because that is where we really rely on getting a lot of the funding for these projects. And then the Art Response information, and the second page 2 provides you with the budget, and I have to go and look up something from Cynthia gave me how much money we have spent in the budget. So I have to go look at that on my email right now, and you can talk about
Sure, I get the budget. No, budget season is coming up. A couple years ago, we had extra money in the cultural district budget, and it came about because the city had been awarding art project grants, mini grants to artists. And then they decided, well, let's let the cultural district do this. So we'll just transfer that money to the cultural district. This last year for fiscal year 24-25, we had to make some serious budget cuts, and it affected the cultural district as it reduced that amount of money that was going directly to the arts. So it got cut in half, and this budget that's on page 2 is how we broke down the $5,000 that we had left to work with the cultural district. And we still try and support those projects that were in the beginning, the brief update, those 7 projects. we're still trying to support those. We've also been able to work on another platform that Jill was talking about, and it's called See My Legacy. And it's an opportunity for people to go online and see some of the projects, see some of the videos, the descriptions and things like that. And they can decide if they want to sponsor, and if it'll help us put place names around the community and things like that. So we can highlight some of the art projects that are in the community. Hopefully, we'll find out. This is our first year using that platform, and if we find out that it is paying and helping us get sponsors, we'll probably continue to use it. But the total budget, the city only puts in 5,000. And then if you look at the bottom line, our total budget was 30,855. So that included all the rest is from grants or from sponsorship, from donations that people put in. And Jill has more recent numbers as we're winding up the fiscal year.
Yeah, well, and, well, I would have if I knew where my phone was, because I can't get in my computer without my phone. Is that where it went? Oh, dang it.
Okay, so
Yeah, sorry.
she's gonna go find those more numbers. But, and you can see the other part of the cultural district that it probably might fall in the library budget, but the library does not spend city dollars very much on the cultural performing arts programs that we do. We do have the Friends of the Library. They've gotten grants to be able to support those library programs, and or we get other sponsors, but primarily it's been grant funded. And that costs a little over $5,000 every year. So that's the entire cultural district budget that we could be spending on Summer Reading Club. But that doesn't come out of the city dollars. The other grants that are listed are some of the high dollar items in this budget. And the ability of the cultural district, of LPAA, of the city, Jill as the liaison, to just get more dollar value for every dollar that the city puts in is pretty amazing. I mean, it's a six-fold increase in what we're looking at on this budget page. We might still have some left. The way that our local sponsors have stepped up and helped make things happen, I think, is a critical part of being in a rural community and getting the support of the arts, and just our community members saying, we believe in this, we believe in you. So
Yeah, apologies. I was in Austin all day. I'm just not. And so we had, so far out of the cultural district budget, we have spent $1,732.87. So we haven't gone through all of our things that we expect to spend on. Right now, we still have $3,267.13 left to spend, but that's all allocated in the budget. And by the way, I was in the process of updating this because of Music in the Park, and it's not $2. I'm so sorry. I was in the process of figuring out how much money we actually brought in through sponsorships, and then got distracted and completely forgot until just now that I didn't update that number. But
I was like, wow, those musicians are really resourceful.
it was actually, so it was 5 musicians plus Michael, so that's this, well, he was the one who organized it all, yeah. And then, so it was real close to about $2,800 plus the banners and the other things. As I recall, it was actually very close to 2,800. I don't remember the exact number, but very close to that.
microphone, please.
Oh,
He's got.
okay.
Is this the same music festival that's been held every year for the last, what, 20 years, 15 years?
We don't have a music festival that's been held that many
Where there
years
was
here in
music in the
Smithville.
park?
We have,
projected down the street.
yes, well, so there's actually, the Music in the Park is the one that runs on Thursdays through the month of usually April, but this time was May. And that's at the gazebo, and it's a small event. But there's a music festival that happens in October, and that's happened, I think, 3 years. Is this the 4th year? Yeah, that's the one that we don't, the businesses on the 100 block of Main Street got together and decided they wanted to do that. There was a music festival back in 2000. Yeah, we did.
Also an art festival too, with the music at the same time, correct?
And a film festival we've had, and the music festival, we've had a couple of those with the hope of having it be an annual thing, and just the cost.
But
has-
You talking Jamboree?
I was at one of them. It was
All
on
right.
a Saturday.
Oh.
You know, and it was, they also had art festival and they had vendors on the main street here down toward the
There's,
gazebo.
so the couple other festivals where they have music integrated in that, the music festival, that was the big music festival we had out at Riverbend Park, was probably about 20 years ago. Or not 20 years ago, I've only been here 15 years, but yeah, at the gazebo. So, but we have the Festival of Lights is one that we've had every year that has stuff for kids and vendors, and that's the first Saturday in December for the holiday season. So there's that one and that's, I think, 50 years. That's been going on forever. And then Jamboree, they are located now at Riverbend Park primarily, other than a parade that they do downtown. But they have been around for about 30 years, or I've got them switched. I don't remember which one's which. But those are our longstanding festivals would have music. Sure, yeah. Well, come on back to the next one coming up. We'll send you a calendar. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, and as Judy said, I was, in the next update, what I'll do before I finalize this and send it out to my list of people for the minutes and so forth, I'll make sure that what the other piece of this is, I wanted to say where we've already spent our money. So, so that's something where I need to kind of get with a couple other people too, and just kind of, we've got the source, and so how much of that has already taken place and where are we in our spending? But yeah, the amplification of the $5,000, because we are working in partnership with so many other organizations and getting grants and so forth, it just really amplifies our ability to do cultural and artistic things in the area. So I think that's, yes, yeah, go right ahead.
And this is actually a little bit outside of y'all's scope, but it would help us. First of all, I may want to have a call with you either tomorrow or Friday and kind of pin down some things. We're actually working on our budget this week. And so I want to kind of get a clarification on what we can include as what we consider our budget to be for the cultural district. So for Arts for Rural Texas, we host Art Walk every year. So do we include Art Walk, even though it's an event we already have, but it does take place within the cultural district? Is that something we would count? So we don't have to answer that now, but just questions like that I'm going to have. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, call me anytime. I know the deadline's coming up fast. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, all right. I guess then, I don't know if there's anything else. We're at the public comments and feedback and input on the survey and so forth. Is there any other, anything else we need to say online, or should I just say thank you all and? Yeah.
Unless any of you want to comment on, provide feedback on the project proposals, the second packet, that is part of what the survey will, we want to collect more data. 12 is obviously not enough. But if any of you have any feedback that you want to leave with us, and it doesn't have to be tonight, if you want to take the packet home, look at it, and then get back to us, or even take the survey, we'll make sure that you have access to the survey page as well. But just to give us an idea of what would you, as a community member or as a visitor to the community, what would you like to see in terms of public art and what the cultural district can do?